This is the Second Studio, hosted by two architects, myself, David Lee, and Marina Borodero. This week it's the two of us in the studio. And another casual chat, an after-hours conversation where it's just the two of us. And we talk about whatever is on our minds. In this case, it's going to be a conversation about predictive index behavioral analysis of Marina. So we're going to talk about your personality today.
What?
And see if you feel aligned with the results of the analysis. Sound good? Sponsors. This is the second.
I don't know if I agree with that.
With the two of us.
This episode of The Second Studio is brought to you by BQE Core, the all-in-one firm management software built for architects. Designed by architects for architects, Core helps you track time effortlessly, manage projects seamlessly, and get paid faster so you can focus on design, not spreadsheets. With powerful automation and real-time insights, it's everything you need to run a smarter, more profitable firm. See how BQE Core can transform your practice by clicking the link in our show notes.
The Second Studio podcast is sponsored by Autodesk. Do you know about Autodesk Forma? Available standalone or as part of their AEC Collection software bundle, it's a specialized AI-assisted 3D design tool that can transform early project planning. With Forma, you can rapidly model multiple massing options at the start of your projects and analyze the embodied carbon costs of different volumes, layouts, and material choices. You can then deepen your understanding of your sites by incorporating real-world contextual data for daylight, wind, noise, and more. Start your projects right with Autodesk Forma. Check out the link in our show notes to learn more. Well, I mean, I don't know. We could talk about the predictive index behavioral analysis of yourself, or we could talk about other stuff.
Why about myself? Or you don't want to talk about yours?
Oh,
yours was the most problematic out of the two. Maybe we should talk about yours.
All right. Well, do you want to cover something else before getting into this? I think it's kind of interesting.
There's not much happening in my life lately, so the only thing I can contribute to is TV show talk, which right now we're watching one that came out a while ago, so I don't think that's very
The Last of Us?
interesting for anyone. Yeah. So I don't know.
Well,
That's that.
So we're on season 2. There's only been 2 seasons, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
season 2.
Yeah.
We kind of put off watching it for a long time because
It's depressing.
it's depressing, and we knew it was going to be good, but depressing. And then I saw online that there was some hoopla about the main actress because she's not a she, she's a they, them, identifies that way. And then there's some things they say in the show that offended people who don't, believe or understand sexuality, and people were upset. And then she doesn't look like the character in the video game, who has a more like chiseled face, and people were upset by that too, and da-da-da-da-da. And
people need to chill. That's what people need to do.
Yeah, well, I let it inform my decision to watch it or not. I was like, I don't really want to. There's too much like negativity. It put me off. But now we're watching it. We're not finished with the season. It's fine.
I mean, I'd never look or watch or read anything anyone thinks about any of the TV shows or whatever, because I'm not interested in other people's opinion.
Well, that says a lot about your predictive index behavioral analysis. It says in bold red letters in your report, does not play well with others.
No. That's true.
That's a horrible person to work with. Advice: don't work with this person.
Imagine if that's what you get back, man.
I know.
That's like a life-crushing verdict.
So real quick with the show, I mean, it's been out for a while, so I don't feel bad spoiling it. But the clip that circulated online was, okay, so some background. The show is a post-apocalyptic story based on a video game. Essentially, there's a virus that stems from mushrooms, and it turns people into zombies. That's what it's called.
I mean, mushrooms are questionable things.
The idea is that mushrooms or fungus, whatever, organisms that survive parasitically, so they get into the brain of whatever animal and take over that animal to survive. And the idea is that with global warming, either that organism is released from the ice or has to evolve to adapt, and because of that, it adapts to taking over human minds and not just like beetles. So anyway, there's zombies involved, and it's like, there's a young girl in the show and the video game who's the main character. And I don't know about the video game, but in the TV show, she's a lesbian, at least. I don't think she might be bisexual, I don't know, but she's a lesbian at least. And the clip that was circulated that people were offended by was in the show, she has a lesbian partner, and that partner is pregnant. And the main character says, so I'm going to be a dad or a father, a dad. And that pissed off a lot of people because she's a female, in real life and in the show, so that doesn't make sense. And that upset a lot of people. Taken out of context, it feels like a very forced thing for that character to say. Like the show writer putting that in there to be, quote, woke and whatever. But I have to say, as a person who didn't follow the video game and whatever else, I didn't have a problem with it, because in the premise of the show, her only parent figure is a guy. It's a father. So my interpretation of her saying that was one, and also that her adopted dad, let's say, was murdered in front of her before she makes this statement. So my feeling is like, well, that is the first instinct of her to say, because she didn't have a mother. She only had a father. And also she is, between the two partners, more the one that dresses and I don't know, looks stylistically more masculine than the other one who's more feminine. So it tracks to me. And I also think that she said it's sort of tongue in cheek. I don't think her character legitimately thinks that she's a father. Like, I don't think that was, part of the deal. So I don't know. Did it stand out to you as being like weird or offensive or forced?
No, and she kind of said it in a way that was not like super serious. She was kind of like, make it sound like I'm going to be a dad, even though I know I'm not a man, but I'm going to be a dad. Like, I'm going to be the main character in this relationship. The
main character in the relationship? What do you mean by that?
The male.
Oh, the male character.
Character in the relationship.
I mean, the whole story, at that point in the story, at that point in the show, everything about the story is because her, again, non-biological father was murdered, and they're on this revenge quest. So, the father figure is like is there. It's like that's the key throughout everything. So I don't know. It's like, yeah, she says I'm going to be a dad because she just lost her dad.
Yeah, I don't know how much that is actually related to why she said it necessarily.
Are you kidding me? We should get the writers on and ask them.
Yeah, sure. But let me put it this way, and not to sound mean, but if she was the most attractive out of the two characters saying it, would people have had an issue about it? Probably not. I think it's easier to hate on people
when they don't fit
the standards,
right?
Because then it's like, well, you just like, it's just, I don't know, it's just another reason to hate on them. What I mean? Like, so.
There's also, again, she openly identifies her pronouns are they, them, and she's autistic, has been diagnosed that way or whatever, and so she is very open about that. So there's like a lot about her that for really conservative people automatically do not like that person, and all that shit bleeds over into their criticism of the show. I agree. But
stupid. Also, it's just a TV show. Who gives a fuck what she says? It's just keep it in the context of the TV show. That's fine.
It's strange to me that so many people would be so upset when the first season they had one entire episode, maybe if not more, centered around a side story about a gay couple, two guys.
Oh, that was very sad.
And it was like the best show in the history of television. Right. I'm going to guess, though, the people who are, were so upset by the season 2 episode of her saying that she's going to be a dad are probably just trolls and people just trying to create problems. And they probably didn't even watch the first season.
Yeah.
The amount of fake, information out there or information that's just for the sake of trolling is crazy.
Well, it's just so easy to make a clip and start like a hate trend on something. You know what I mean? Like.
But so far, I'm enjoying the show. Although I do question why the fuck we're watching this when I'm trying to go to bed right afterwards.
That does not faze me at all, to be honest.
Oh, really?
No, not at all.
Well, that's the behavioral index. That's
can't control it, so it doesn't faze me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we started also watching the TV show called Widow's Bay with Matthew Rhys.
Yeah.
And it kind of first started, I was like...
Well, it's an owl.
I was like... Okay, is this going to be scary? Is this going to be funny? Is it going to be like one of those like old murder, dusty TV show thing, because it kind of has that feeling to it because of where it takes place. And it's actually, I find it pretty funny. Yeah. It's like, I think the genre of the show is like
comedy horror or
comedy something weird.
Something
and I'm like, I think we should do more of that.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like check out all the boxes of emotional reaction you're aiming for when you watch stuff. But even that show, it doesn't faze me at all. I go to bed and sleep, no problem.
We started watching that, and we didn't know what it was going to be about. And I like him as an actor a lot. I'll watch anything.
The show rated really well, and he's really good. So I was like, we gotta give it a try.
Yeah, and so we started watching it, and then I don't know which of the first kind of thriller, scary stories, because they're basically short stories in a way.
Yeah.
But they're not, but they kind of are, occurred. But when it first happened, I was like, oh, okay, well, I didn't realize that we're going to... But now I'm in it. Now I have to watch it because I want to see what's going to happen. But there's fucking freaky shit, man.
That's fine. I protect you.
There's people in the...
protect you.
Don't go in the forest. Don't go in the forest.
That's like rule number one.
Or if you're driving in the forest in the middle of nowhere and there's a woman in robes in the middle of the road with a long black hair covering her face, don't drive toward her. Don't put your window down. What are we doing? And by that point, too, that was like episode 3. I'm like, Matthew Reese, what? Come on, man.
But that's what they do, and they do it on purpose to kind of make the audience like cringe and be like, why are you doing this? Because like you would not, like if people were doing the right thing in all of those scary stuff, nothing would happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is a really, really good show, though. And it's kind of like, I don't know if it's based on a book or what. But,
or a real phenomenon.
But no. But it's kind of like classic horror. Is it considered horror? Not really.
Well, it's scary.
Classic scary tales that you always hear about. Like there's like it's kind of like the cliches, but it's just done in a really good way. And he's great. Everyone else is great. So anyway, yeah, that's what's going on
in our life.
Okay, so do you want to get on to the meat of the subject here?
Yeah, so
we did this. We did this recently because we're hiring some folks, and it helps us. Well, I don't know how much into details we want to get to, but we did these recently for not just for funsies, but for practical, productive reasons. But I'd never. Have you ever done like kind of any kind of predictive index? It's called the Predictive Index Behavioral Analysis. Have you ever done this, or have you ever done like a personality, test, or anything like that?
I think the only thing I've done was like in like Teenagers magazine, you take a quiz and it tells you like what kind of person you are, like those dumb things.
And what did it say?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it depends
on what the
quiz is about.
your dream husband or something.
Well, the thing is, when you do those like stupid quiz in magazines or whatever, like you kind of know like A, B, or C, like what kind of person is A, what kind of person is B, what kind of person is C. So whenever you pick the answers, you're picking the answers based on who you want to be in the end of the test. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's
not that subtle. So not very helpful. But no, I've never taken a test like that, like in a more like serious professional setting, let's say.
I mean, it's not long. It doesn't take long to do.
You were like, okay, we got to take that test. I didn't know what it was going to be. It's going to take like probably about 15 minutes. I'm like, okay. So I log in, click on the link, answer like, I don't know, 20 questions, 1 line, 2 choices or whatever. I'm like, fine. Click submit. And that was it. I'm like, what? You said that was going to take 15 minutes. Turn around, I'm done. And you're like, what? You're already done? I'm like, what? Yeah, it's not like it's complicated. You're like, well, I don't know. I don't know how to answer those questions. And I'm like, what? So I'm confused.
Well, I think so. Before we get into your specific results and the red text that says that you're a psychopath, the challenge I had with the test and these kind of things in general. So the questions are always, not specific to this one, but generally these types of exams or analyses or whatever. The questions are always like, do you feel this way? If you're in that situation, how would you respond? Or sometimes there are situation lists like, do you like going out? Do you like not going out? Do you like this? Do you like to socialize? Do you like not to socialize? Do you prefer, being told what to do versus not? This kind of like, yes, kind of true or false kind of things. And I always struggle because I'm like, I don't know. It depends on the situation that I'm in. Like, some of them are easy to answer as a default. I know naturally, for the most part, I'd probably rather be at home relaxing in a quiet setting rather than going out all the time. But that's not to say I don't like going out sometimes, or, you know what I mean? So that's the problem that I had with this.
You overthink the answers. That's the problem.
or I'm just thinking it to the correct amount of it.
No, you're just overthinking your answer.
But I also think it's a result of, so here's my theory. If your role and responsibility, and therefore your everyday life, why are you giving me squinty eyes? Huh?
Are you giving yourself excuses here?
No, but I think if your role and responsibility, for 40 hours a week or more so you're in a position where you have to be good in a bunch of different ways in different settings, then you're forced to be somewhat of a chameleon, right? So then, and once you get used to operating that way, it becomes harder, I think. Why are you making faces?
Oh, I'm a chameleon. Oh, I could be a spy.
I'm not
I have to wear
that.
so many colors.
You what?
This is why I have a hard time answering the question.
So many what?
You have to wear so many colors.
So many colors?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so I think though, when you're in a position like that for an extended period of time, you start to lose your sense of self, and it's harder to know what naturally you're interested in. Because I do also believe that if you do something long enough, and okay, so like the way to be good at something or to get by is you have to enjoy it. And sometimes you have to trick yourself into enjoying it. A small thing like if you're going out, this is unrelated to business. If you're going out, but you don't really want to go out, you have to, psych yourself up and say like, okay, this is going to be a fun time. Then you end up having a good time is my point, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that sort of applies to a lot of other things. So again, if you're in the position of a business owner where you're wearing 12 different hats, as all business owners know, inherently there's some specific things you really don't like, but there's probably a lot of things that you're lukewarm about, but you end up enjoying because you just do it so often and you get hopefully good at it. And that's where, for me, it was confusing because you end up evolving because you learn to love certain things that you didn't think you were going to like before. You know what I mean?
Sounds like you're the perfect person.
No, why? This is why you have big red text. Condescending asshole. Oh, interesting.
I don't have
10
any red
out
text.
of 10 on
oh,
that
come
one.
on. I don't have any red. That's why you're mad at me for taking
your whole page is red. In fact, they just made the whole thing red, and your text is in white because they didn't know how much red to use otherwise. But you know what I mean? Like, I think.
No, I know what you mean. I live with you. I know what you mean. I witness my chameleon moving around all day, every day. I know.
I'm in the corner.
I know.
Eh? Do you see me? Versus, I think when, if you took someone out of an office and they were siloed and they had a very, very, very limited set of tasks to do, and they like doing that, then it's very easy for them to be like, no, fuck off. I don't like these other 9 out of 10 things, right? Because they don't have to do those. Maybe it's because they don't like it, but also to agree, maybe because they don't know. They've not tried it yet. So maybe they do actually like it. Do you know what I mean?
Are you a psychologist now? Like you took the
no,
test?
But I mean,
yeah. I mean, of course. But it
like
also sounds like if you have to be a chameleon too, like then that you're not really yourself at doing those things. So therefore, should you be the one doing those things?
Well, so basically, as you might imagine, listeners, the output, the results, gets boiled down to a graph, and there's like maybe 5 different personality. I'll call them personality. Maybe behavioral is a better word, but personality, subjects, right. Like objective versus subjective, I think is one of them. I don't remember, whatever they are. And then you kind of rank on that spectrum in a certain way. And that's your index or your analysis. Apparently though, there are some people who fall kind of like dead in the center for all of those things. And those are considered true chameleons because they're perfectly fine kind of flexing left or right on the spectrum. It doesn't bother them. Obviously, if you can imagine, if you're a person, so let's imagine that one of those subjects is subjective versus objective. If you're on one end of the extreme spectrum, it's going to be really tough for you to go all the way to the other side or even to the middle. But so I guess there are people who are considered true chameleons, to answer your question. Mm-hmm. So like in our practice, we have, I feel like we've naturally but also intentionally fallen into different, we have different sets of responsibilities. There's a fuck ton of overlap when it comes to projects. Like clients are always asking like, well, who's actually working on the project? I'm like, no, we both are like really ultra overlapped, but everything outside of like the design work and the technical work itself, we do have different sets of responsibilities that we do. I've always felt like though that we could probably flip, and I think you would be I think you'd be pretty close to as good as I am. And I would probably be close to as good as you are. Maybe not quite. I do feel like we were strategic in deciding who does certain things.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could do it. And maybe if that's not a necessity.
Swap. I think we, if either of us would enjoy the swapped position, maybe not. But we have the capabilities to do it if we had to.
Yeah.
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 So I'd say if I was to retire tomorrow, you would have to fill my shoes. You could do that.
To contradict myself, I've said before, probably on the show, and if there's one of us who could run an office on their own, it would be you. I could not.
Yeah, but I would not. I would not evolve. I would not go very far. You know what I mean? I would not go and network. I wouldn't care meeting people. I just do my work and that's that. And, guess what? I have no more projects to work on. Well, I gotta go find something.
But if you needed to, you'd do it. Obviously,
yeah, but it's too much for one person to do it all.
I think that's fair too.
That's just not realistic.
Yeah.
If you need to
even two people
to survive, in the long term, that's not sustainable to have one person do it all, and even two, it's not enough. So, yeah.
Anything else with that?
Are you surprised with the results?
So in this case, the results, in order for this to be useful, I don't really have to do much. My only responsibility was to do the thing.
Right.
So I was paying attention, but not so much to where I was concerned with what it means. I mean, the results are the results. Some of the, I think, key takeaways I don't fully agree with, but I think they're just anomalies within every person.
Yeah.
But generally, and the takeaway for me, the headline, the one word headline for is that I'm analytical, and I think my response to your question is a good example of that, because my answer could simply have been yes. Yes, as I agree with the results.
Well, yeah, which explains why it took you more time to answer that test than it did to me, because you were again thinking about things too much.
I'm more thoughtful is what it means.
No, it means you just take too much time. Actually, there was a few things that were not quite accurate. You make decisions fast and you like to move fast. I'm like, well, I don't know about that. I'm like, you make probably good decisions, but you don't make them fast, and I'm often the one pushing for speed.
See, I think it depends on the thing we're talking about.
That's true.
I'll put it this way. For myself...
if it's a design decision, I'm like, I need to know we're doing this, so that, I don't know, I have to try it, I have to think about it, I have to look at it from 15 different angles.
Right.
I'm like, okay, in my mind, it's A or B. I'm doing A. That's it.
Right.
So... 3 days later, I'm like, okay, David, that design decision, where are we with it? Oh, well, I don't know yet. We gotta know. We gotta get going.
I had, a few years ago now, I saw a clip on Instagram, and there's this, I don't know who it was. I think they're a philosopher or psychologist, someone, whatever, right? And they were saying that creatives who procrastinate, they procrastinate in part because they're actually problem solving kind of subconsciously or even consciously. And so they prefer to kind of sit on the problem outwardly. It appears like they're not doing anything, and then kind of at the last minute cram it out. I don't know.
But
if
I
that's
don't
true.
know at the end. I mean, I could see that in certain people, but I don't know in the end if it gives you a better result or decision than if you did not procrastinate. I
don't think it's better. I think it's just a way of working.
Yeah.
I think for myself at least, and I feel like a lot of architects I've seen, there's a little bit of that, right? There's we do it, but we need time to kind of just let it rest and sit and age and think and reflect, and then we come back to it. It doesn't have to be 3 days. It could be one day. It could be a weekend. It could be longer also.
Yeah, and I mean, in all fairness, I think it's also because everything in what we do is interconnected. So it's not just one isolated decision.
Yeah.
Right? It's there is another zillion thing we have to think about in order to make that decision. So not everyone has the capacity to process those questions quickly.
No, and a quick aside, this is one of the top biggest differences between an architect, a good architect, and a client. A lot of clients who are smart people in their own right think they can do what an architect does to a degree, or they think they can problem solve one aspect of the architecture, like a facade design or a floor plan or a kitchen or like whatever it is, like just one part of it. And truthfully, they can't because, and all architects listening to this will be like nodding their heads. When we're looking at one of those things, we're actually thinking about like probably 12 different things at once. Yeah. And there's no way for a person who, first of all, doesn't have the experience is going to be able to think, not even be aware of those 12 other criteria, let alone think about them, let alone organize them in a manner, because it's not just, it's not 12 things that are physical. We're talking about schedule, budget, constructability, material, accessibility to material, all of this stuff. And so when people are like, well, let's all like do it together, I'm like, there's no way. I don't have time to educate you on a 5-hour phone call or a 5-hour, working session for something that would take us 5 minutes to think through and decide, no, it doesn't work for a bunch of reasons that I can't even explain to you because it takes too long. Yeah. I think that's just, goes back to trusting the people you're working with. But anyway, so what happened?
I don't know. Let's get to the meat of this thing.
All right. Marina Borderonet. Okay.
What?
Okay. High patience and formality. That's your...
I don't know what formality means.
I don't know either.
In this particular case. I would say high patience. That's really accurate.
Oh, bro.
Oh, come on. You have zero tolerance. I have patience. What? Well, you shake your head no. Of course.
Well, I guess the thing is,
patience.
I guess, so my immediate thought is like, I can always think of examples where you've run out of patience, and I can think of examples where I've run out of patience.
Okay, when do I run out of patience? I'm curious. When we need to pick something to watch? Yeah, because I don't like skipping and trying 15 different things before setting.
Okay, but real quick on that, you propose things that are not even out yet.
Okay, well, at least I'm looking up stuff.
So not useful. You're like, oh, there's this movie, like that sounds great. Oh, it comes out in a month.
Well, I'm planning for the future, David.
Yeah, okay.
When do I lose patience?
I'm trying to think of a specific example now, but like if we're working with a consultant or somebody, right, and you have asked them for information and they don't provide it the first time, you automatically have lost patience with them, right?
I get annoyed. It's not like I lost patience. I get annoyed.
Splitting hairs? What's the difference? But isn't
But
patience
I feel like it's fair. I mean, if I'm asking something, they say they would provide it, or that is their role to provide it to me because that's why I'm consulting with them, and they don't.
Okay.
Well, they kind of miss the mark. So I feel
Or even more broadly, if we have a consultant and it's a new relationship and they are trying. Now, some people like blatantly don't give you the information at all, which is like annoying. I understand that. Other times people are trying, but they're just not getting it right. And it takes time to cultivate and I would say train them to a certain degree, but to build that up to get them to your speed. We've had this problem before with like GCs or subcontractor or whatever else. You don't have patience for that. And I'm actually the one who's told you, like, look, this is a person who's, for personality reasons, I think they're a good fit. Let's work with them. Let's make it go for. We have to give them time to evolve. And you're the one that's like, no, fuck that. Why don't we just, find a different sub or whatever?
Yeah. I agree with that. And that's because, I don't know, I have maybe a higher expectation than the norm. And because if I was being asked to do something, I would do it.
I know.
I would try to do it. And when, the other side is not, it's just frustrating because it's like, well, what do you think is going to happen here? You think I'm going to do it for you? Like, hello? Like,
I know. So this is where you and I are very aligned. And
yeah.
So I sincerely have a hard time imagining that what we're talking about is not understood. Like, I don't get how other people could not feel the way we feel about this and not operate that way. But clearly they are. They exist. They're out there.
And I've thought about that a lot. And I'm like, are we thinking and functioning that way because
we're crazy people?
No, because of our experience in New York, and that's because like how people function there. And is it not how people function everywhere else? Like, is that why? I mean, to me, it seems like the way we function is the way everybody should, because that just seems rational. you know?
There is, broadly speaking and generally, when you're in different regions, whether it be a city, a state, or a country, there's a different philosophy about how people behave and interact and how they think.
I know,
that's
but
100% the case.
I'm always thinking, you know, when I was working in New York, like if I was, I don't know, like someone would ask me to do something or a consultant would ask me for something, like, oh man, I would like hustle and like get it done and get it done the best I could and or figure it out to get it done, right? Like, it was always about performance. And I don't know, I feel like we don't live in a world where people think about performing anymore.
Well, I think that's a big statement for sure, but we've definitely interacted with people like that. Here's the thing that's odd to me is it's very, I think, black and white in terms of whether or not the person is making an attempt to provide the information or perform in the way that they're supposed to be performing to do a good job. And it's kind of like, you know, even if the subject matter is complex or there's a lot of things being discussed and a lot of pieces of information being exchanged, it fundamentally, I always think about it like, imagine you're at a dinner table and you're just two people and you're sitting across from each other and someone says, you know, can you pass me the salt? And they just stare at you and they don't do anything. It's like, okay, well, are you going to pass the salt? Like, it's very, very simple. It's not a complex thing to just provide the information that you're supposed to or do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think that it's probably also a lot of, you know, those people are employees and not business owners. I think when you have a business, you got to perform, otherwise you're going to run out of business.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a little bit of a difference here. But yeah. So what else is on this?
Okay, so here are the like 12 or so or 15 core behavioral traits that were identified from you.
Oh, I haven't even read the report.
It says French. It says loves chocolate. It says denies their love for chocolate, but loves chocolate.
I did not input any of this information, so how would they know?
It's a really, really good analysis.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Okay, so the words are patient, which we talked about a little bit, dependable, loyal, stable, tolerant, persistent, deliberate, steady, opinionated, French. I mean, they might as well say French in parentheses.
I mean, the word opinionated means French.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Consistent, unassuming.
Oh.
Unselfish, calm, uncritical, and reserved.
I'm pretty critical.
You're pretty critical. But I think that's the nature of any architect. I mean, what fucking architect's not critical?
I mean, how could you not be critical if you're opinionated? It's a paradox, right? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Well, no, some people have strong opinions, but their brains don't work, so there's not really any critical thinking involved.
I mean, to me,
they have a fucking
together.
opinion about everything.
To me, they go together.
I agree,
yeah.
Opinions mean nothing to me. Yeah, so I think it's also interesting because, again, with these types of tests, there's not going to tell you, like, stupid, you know, there's like an alternative word.
Super selfish, asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Self-centered. It's always going to be like motivated. You know, so, I mean, it's easy for anybody, no, not just you, but to look at their 15 keywords or whatever it is and to like agree with them, especially if they sound good. Like, who doesn't want to be patient?
Whoa. Are you, don't destroy it. There is also the report here. Like, it's easy to just step all over it. No.
But
yeah, no, I mean,
you know what I mean?
There's nothing that says anything bad about people, which actually would be helpful.
I want to see that.
To find out, like,
I want to see that version.
Okay, you know, you could use a little bit more of this, or guess what? It's not a good trait to have, you know?
Well, there are in the more, you know, detailed portions of it, because it's quite long, the report. There are segments where they say, you can improve on this, improve on that, or be aware of whatever things. But yeah, I'd like to see a version, the behind the curtain version, where the keywords are swapped out with a bit more directness.
Yeah.
But I don't know, was there anything on there that you feel doesn't?
Unassuming, that's interesting. So I'm an unassuming person. I don't know how to take that, to be honest.
I guess that's the opposite, or is different from people who are very braggadocious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've been told before at a professional meeting that I don't look like an architect. I didn't know how to take that either.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I was like, I literally responded to the person, I do not know what that means. I am not sure how to respond to that, so I'm just not going to respond to that.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say to anybody, to be honest. Reserved, calm, deliberate, steady, opinionated. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm pretty reserved. But if I do have something I strongly believe in, I would say it. So, yeah, calm, yeah, sure.
All right, so let's go a bit more into the details. Behavioral profile, okay?
Oh, wow.
This is your interpersonal style. You like to connect with people. You're quiet and reserved with those you do not yet know.
That's true.
But you're warm, patient, and deeply comfortable within familiar relationships and established teams. You're introspective by nature and prefers to organize your thinking before expressing yourself.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. I mean, I could also put on a face and pretend to be different if I had to, but usually, yeah, my natural nature would be like that, would be to kind of like assess the people and maybe see like who I'm vibing with most before, like engaging a bit further.
Yeah. It says here in terms of working style, you excel in roles requiring consistency, stability, and repeatable excellence. Consistency, stability, and repeatable excellence. You're tolerant, patient, and brings a steady, grounding presence to any team dynamic. And you like to delegate freely, broadly, and trusting the team, though follow-up is not always a priority. You have little concern for rigid process or procedural detail. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I delegate easily and I don't really follow up or whatever. I'm probably the opposite. I probably have a very hard time delegating unless you meet my expectations.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because again, I would tend to think I'd rather be better served by doing it myself than counting on others in general in life for everything. So yeah, I would say no, this part of the test did not get me right.
Yeah. What about the part that says you like roles that require consistency and stability and repeatable excellence? I feel like the last one, repeatable excellence, is quite different from consistency and stability. Well, I don't really know stability. I do like having work to do. I really do not like when I don't have anything to do. Like that is, kind of like looking back in the past when I was an employee, for example, like those were like the worst hours of my employee's life. Yeah, agreed.
Was that. So yeah, I like the consistency of having consistent work to do. If it's the same type of work, not necessarily. Yeah,
you don't thrive on that.
Like I kind of like doing different things.
Yeah.
And I do thrive more when there is like a lot of different things to be done at the same time. And like the same thing over and over. Like I don't do well at that. You do way better at that than I do.
Do better at what?
I just like working on the same thing over and over and over until like, like finding perfection. Like that is something like you're way better at than I am. Like
I don't know if it's better at. There's definitely a negative.
Or like
the dark side to
you're longer lasting at that than I am.
Yes, I think.
And that also probably comes from like, I don't know, you've played music, you've played sport, you're like practicing at getting better at something. It's something like you've been trained growing up.
Yeah.
Like I have not.
Right.
And actually I have really low patience in doing that. And you have like really higher patience in doing that. So yeah.
Well, supposedly, I want to continue with you, but supposedly the analysis provides two things. One is an assessment of who you are like deeply, and that idea of self, or the self, I should say, is established from a very young age. And then there's a separate analysis which says like this is what you're having to do now, and it's a question of how closely related those two situations are. And the idea is that if your inner self is one way, and your what you're having to perform as is a complete opposite, you're not going to be lasting for a very long time in that position, role, career, like whatever it is. But it's true. I probably had more practice, as you said, doing that. The one thing about like not repeated tasks, but like one thing that we're focused on, and like I would describe it as beating it to death sometimes, which is also becomes an affliction at some point. We've talked about this before. Like, I definitely have that, and I've learned proudly and positively to dial it back, as needed. Like, I went down some really weird spirals.
Yeah, and I think on my end, I'm like kind of like the opposite way, and I could use a little bit more of that, where, I kind of like maybe sometimes move on a bit too quickly.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because when you do this, and I've thought about it off and on the last, few weeks or however long it's been since we've done that, and you think about what the test is saying, what the analysis is saying versus prior experiences, you think to yourself, like, is how I felt in those moments reflective of this or not? And there are times where, like, yeah, it makes complete sense. I would agree, though, like, anytime I'm in a group setting, whether it be a setting with one other person, you want more beverage? Right. 2, 3, 4, whatever people, and we're talking about a particular subject matter, and we're trying to arrive at a solution or conclusion of some kind, right, which is often the case. I'm usually the last one standing. And I don't say that as a mark of pride or to brag or anything, but that's just usually the case. Everyone else will fatigue and they will fall out and be like, I'm tired of this. My brain doesn't work. I will be the one that's still like pushing for it and be like, let's figure it out. And let's go back and recircle
3 days
over
to recover,
and over.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's often the case.
It's called brain damaged.
Well, I think also part of it is not a good thing, and some of it comes from doing extremely long nights and not sleeping for a long period of time during school. And there's goods and bads, and one of the goods is that it's endurance. I have high endurance when it comes to talking about one subject matter. If we haven't arrived at a conclusion, I will keep going. And it drives other people nuts, or they're tired. And it drives me nuts because then we don't finish it, and then time passes, and then we have to go back and re-talk about stuff. And like, that's because we didn't fucking follow. We didn't follow through the first time.
That's also because you talk a little too much. We're talking a bit less. You last as long.
That's true. That's true.
And now a quick break to thank the sponsors who support the second studio. This episode is brought to you by Chaos. They make award-winning design and visualization tools, and they're really pushing the boundaries with AI. Now, AI is shaking up the architecture and design world, and Chaos is taking a responsible approach. Their tools are built to help architects, designers, and visualization specialists to work faster and explore more ideas without replacing creativity. Basically, Chaos wants AI to make your imagination stronger, not take over. So you get to design with more freedom, create stunning visuals, and stay in control of your work. If you want to see what that looks like, tap the Chaos link in our show notes.
Dear architects, design leaders, and founders redefining the industry, if you want to shape not only buildings, but the business behind them, this is your moment. Future London Academy's Executive MBA takes you inside the boardrooms of Pentagram, Uber, Zaha Hadid Architects, and Google, where you'll master finance, strategy, and operations from the people who already excel at them. Study along peers transforming the industry worldwide, and do it all in just 9 intensive weeks over 1 year between London and California. The program is award-winning, transformative, and crafted for design and architecture leaders with 15 or more years of experience. If you're ready to grow your impact, apply now by tapping the Future London Academy link in our show notes.
Say goodbye to design-unfriendly spreadsheets. Programma, built by designers for designers, provides an integrated suite of tools for every phase of your project, from mood boards to advanced specification tools to project management. Seamlessly integrated, easily shareable, and always current, Programma reduces redundancy and minimizes costly errors. Share your work in a format that works for you, be it PDF, spec sheets, or online, branded client dashboards with always up-to-date specification details. Join interior design movers and shakers and start for free by clicking the Programma link in our show notes. Experience the difference with Programma, software built for interior design workflows.
I told you the other day, like, I realized that if I'm in a group setting of some kind and there's too much groupthink going in a direction that I don't agree with, either in a small way or big way, in that setting, even in a comfortable setting, I get this weird antsy energy where I will like start kind of shaking. You know how, like an easy example, before you go on stage to perform or something, you get butterflies or something, you're kind of like, you're anxious. That's how I feel, like almost like a nervous energy, because everyone is, they've allowed themselves to build up this idea of whatever it is on top of each other, when meanwhile I feel in my mind, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong or they're right or wrong, just subjectively. In my mind, I'm like, we've made a misstep and this whole thing is based on a false premise, and I get a really weird, anxious energy about it. And I will oftentimes intentionally not say something because I don't want to suck the air out of the room too much, which I can easily do. So I'll wait. But when I wait, I get more and more anxious until finally I have to say something. And I'm usually because I don't know how to unpack all the wrongness that has been said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you just care
that?
too much.
Say it?
I think you just care too much.
Probably.
Like, if it was me, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Shut off.
In certain settings, I'll just walk out. I will literally leave. That's why when I go to, there are design events and there's like a panel talking, and, let's be honest, a lot of times it's really lightweight, fluffy stuff, or they're saying stuff that's just not true. I will get that same energy, so I'll leave. I will physically leave because I can't stand to be there. It drives me. I can't stand it.
I would not even have gone.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. But I'm also kind of like, I go because one, that's partly my role. But I'm also sort of an optimist. I want to see, like I don't want to dismiss everyone before going there. But you
dismiss everyone. Okay.
It's okay.
I'm like, I know it's gonna be crap. Not worth my time.
Yeah. I don't know about the part where you have little concern for rigid process or procedural detail. I don't know about that one.
It's a little bit abstract. I'm not sure about that one.
I mean, I could only sort of agree that be on board with that idea for you, only because I could see yourself just saying, "Well, I'll just do it."
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
I'll do whatever it takes to get it done. So if that,
I wonder what mine says, because I'm the opposite. I'm obsessed with process. Okay, composure under pressure. Under pressure.
Under pressure.
Very little ruffles Marina.
I think that's pretty true.
She is almost always calm, composed, and unhurried, even in high-pressure environments. That I don't.
I don't like to be rushed. Yeah. I do not like to work under pressure. I do not like that. So I just avoid the situation. Yeah. That's why I'm organized and I try to be a step ahead or whatever. Like, I hate to be late at, going places or appointments or meeting people. Like, I cannot stand that. So, yeah, I don't like to be asked to do things last minute in a rushed way. Like, it's just not how I function.
No, but it says, okay, if you're in a situation like that, it says it makes you a stabilizing force in fast-moving or ambiguous situations. She is slow to change her mind once formed and tends to hold a position with quiet persistence. But I want to go back to the first part of, like, that you're calm, composed, and unhurried, even in situations where it's high pressure and, high...
It really depends. It really depends. Like,
the day of the week.
It depends on the week and what the task and who's asking.
Yeah.
That's kind of that.
I think that's fair.
Like, if it's like... Yeah, if it's self-imposed or it's like there's no choice, we get like if it's a team effort, like there's no point. If it's someone who's just asking crazy shit last minute and like has this high expectation, and like it really depends, like the context, the demand, and all of that. So it could be either or. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. I think also the depth of a person, and how they are internally, truly, like their core self, versus how they behave outwardly. I'm thinking about it vertically as depth, right? Mm-hmm. That depth is greater or lesser depending on the individual. Frankly, I also feel like on the emotional maturity of the individual, and also the responsibility that they have. Mm-hmm. And I think some people, that this is a very shallow thing. Mm-hmm. I think others, there's a lot more layers to it. So like, if I were to think about myself, which I'd be interested to see what it says about me, for, high pressure environments, I've definitely had situations where I would not describe myself as being calm, composed, and unhurried. I can definitely be the opposite of that in situations for good or bad reasons. And I can also be extremely calm and extremely unhurried and composed. That doesn't change how I feel internally. Internally, I feel like a hot mess, like I described. Yeah. But externally, I realize like that's not going to help anything. So I have to take a step back, be like, okay, let's reset. And that's more like a team leadership kind of mindset. And you do what you have to do. So, yeah, I don't know. Motivations, there's only a bit more for you. What motivates you? Long-term affiliation in deep, enduring professional relationships, stable, predictable work environment with familiar colleagues, supportive family-like team structure, built on trust and mutual respect, recognition for loyalty, tenure, and sustained contributions over time. Surroundings and contexts you know well, consistency matters. That's all very, very in line with itself. I mean, all those things. It's basically saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. But it's odd because you also like changes and different environments and different challenges.
Yeah, we're talking about like what motivates me.
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like I used to be a lot more motivated.
Well, maybe another.
Yeah, I mean, respect and appreciation, it motivates me a lot. In like work settings, with clients or consultants and all of that. Like, so I don't know. Well, so I'm curious to know about your results. Do you have any big red bold letters on your report?
No, they didn't give me a report. They were like, you don't need any analysis.
Come on, get out of here. It's so perfect, you don't need one.
I immediately deleted the email. I don't want to know.
I never opened the report, actually.
It's interesting. It's interesting stuff. Okay, so let's see. You know how yours said high patience and formality? Mine doesn't have like a... I don't have one.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, it's odd. But I do have the core behavioral traits. So they're the 15 or so keywords.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Okay. Do you want to read it? And then you can tell then...
Sure.
Okay. Here.
All right. Let's see. Independent.
Yeah.
Assertive. Self-confident. Yeah, would say so. Competitive. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Venturesome.
If it doesn't involve nature, yes. We were on a site the other day, and it's 10
minutes.
It's a fire. So it's a blank site, and there's some leftover, landscape and greenery and
there
stuff.
There is a couple
and
grass and weeds.
Tall weeds. You don't know what's in there.
Tall. They're not that tall.
Ankle high. That's pretty tall.
Not that tall.
I need my landscaping to be no more than like half an inch tall.
Is that the height of AstroTurf?
Yeah, basically. It needs to be less than the thickness of my soul.
Oh, that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. Individualistic.
Yeah.
Self-starter. Challenging.
I don't know if they're challenging to work with, or I like to challenge things.
No.
It probably means that I like to challenge things.
Probably.
I would assume.
Diligent.
That is a very... what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Diligent?
Yeah. Precise. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit too much.
Yeah.
Organized.
See that one.
It really depends what we're talking about here.
Yeah, no.
If you need to be, you can be.
We talked about this before. Like, I'm organized and I can be with certain things. Like, I can be very, very fastidious about certain things, but there's some things about being organized that I'm really not good at, like schedules and...
That's true, but like you can come up with systems, and creating system is a way to be organized. So
it's true.
I think you just kind of pick and choose like what you want to be organized about and what you don't care about being organized about. So yeah, I mean, I would say you are and can be organized. You just choose not to. Conscientious.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, cautious. I would say so too. Yeah. Self-disciplined. Yeah. Specialist.
Self-disciplined. That one I'm not so sure about. I think in some regards, yes, but in other ways too, like I need team members and people around me to keep me on track. I will spiral out of control. So in my view, when I think of self-disciplined, I think about like being regimented in a certain, maybe making assumptions, but I'm thinking being regimented, like this is not a business example, but a life example. Like, okay, people wake up at 4:00 in the morning, like that's self-disciplined.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a hit or miss, I think, for me.
No. Specialist.
I mean, I don't know. I think everyone's a specialist to a degree.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's kind of a letdown. I mean, most of those seem pretty accurate, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I think they're pretty accurate.
What was the one? Not self-aware, self-giving. What was it? The caring for others? Something?
No, it's self-confident or self-starter.
No, what are the other ones that had to do with others? Like courteous or something? Conscientious? What was
Conscientious.
it? Yeah, I think that's true. And, over the years, I have this thought too that I think it's partly cultural. So, I grew up in an Asian household. My family's been in the United States for a very long time, so we're whitewashed, as you would say. But we still have deep-rooted Asianness to how I was raised and how my family thinks and whatever. And I think being conscientious, God, that's difficult. What is
it?
Conscientious. I think that's a very Asian thing to almost put others before yourself.
I'm not Asian, but I also think it's a very middle-class thing, raising kids.
Maybe.
So, anyway. Okay, what's the next thing we're looking at?
Whatever's below it. There's like...
Are we going through everything?
Well, what's what we did for you?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
I feel like this is a lot of
Can
information.
you rotate? Let me see. Yeah, we did those, I think. Just go through it quickly.
Okay, decision making. David is an objective and analytical decision maker. With A and D in balance, he rarely falls into analysis paralysis.
With what balance?
With A equals D.
Oh, that's just the graph
criteria,
part. Okay.
Yeah. He rarely falls into analysis paralysis.
That's not necessarily true.
I was going to say.
I've improved on that. I've worked hard to get over that, but innately, I would say that actually being paralyzed by overanalyzing is kind of my inner being.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm still waiting for details on some design projects. Yet maintains a high internal standard for accuracy and correctness.
Curiosity? Yeah. Is that what it said?
Accuracy.
Oh, accuracy and correctness, yes. Yeah.
He feels genuine pressure to get decisions right, of course.
Who doesn't? And maybe me saying that outlines my personality,
yeah, I think so.
but also like who fucking doesn't feel the pressure to get things right? Not even pressure. Who doesn't want to get things right?
I think a lot of people want to get things right. I think they just don't think about it as much as you do to get it right.
Yeah.
But that's, Work style, well, let's see. Reserved and formal in group settings, David communicates with precision and economy. He is introspective, task-oriented, and serious, preferring to work within a trusted circle rather than in broad, open forums. He delegates very little, preferring to maintain a personal control over outcomes. That I don't agree with.
I'm pretty good at delegating.
And if anything, like, you're always the one trying to push me to delegate. So if you're not good at delegating, then I'm horrible at it.
Yeah.
The
delegating thing, again, I think this is where I separate. I think there's a bigger depth that I was talking about. I really make a big distinction between what I would prefer to do versus what I know works in practice. Mm. And what works is always what I'm going to go with for the most part. I enjoy doing all of the work that we do, but it's not possible. Obviously, anyone who has a business, you know that you wear a lot of hats already. I cannot be the one to do everything. I would like to because I enjoy the work. Mm. And I'd like to also because, as you said, like there's certainly a feeling of like, well, I could do it just as well. There's some things I'm not as good at, but I love to delegate because it needs to be that way. And I also enjoy, like, to me, the work is structuring a team dynamic and knowing how to work with people. That to me is also interesting itself. Like that's part of the fun of it. So delegating is not like a torture for me. I actually enjoy it. I find I approach it like a task to be solved. How do I delegate in a way that gets the most out of everybody and everyone feels happy? I think that's like an interesting problem.
Yeah, and I think also, you've been teaching. So I think if you are a teacher, I would feel like you would be a delegator, right? Like you would know how to delegate. I'm struggling with that, and I think I've been doing better at it. But I very much enjoy the challenge of doing everything and doing it all, and the whole like how to delegate, and like I'm just worried usually about the outcome, and like by delegating, I'm worried that the outcome is going to be like way less than what it would have been not delegating. So to me, I have a really hard time like seeing like how is that good for what I'm doing, because I know that the result is going to be less than if I was doing it myself.
Right.
And so it comes about finding the right people and building the trust and the communication, and also just kind of like accepting that it's not going to be the way you're going to do it if you're delegating. Yeah.
I think it's a different way to look at it. I mean, that take is one that I completely thoroughly understand, but I think my starting point when I think about things is the opposite. It's like the outcome is important. I'm not dismissing the outcome, of course, like the end product, the design, the detail, the chart, the spec, like whatever. The outcome's important, but almost the focus is first and foremost the organism that we're shaping, which is the team or the office or the group dynamic for a specific project. Like that is the thing to cultivate. And if we solve that, then everything else gets addressed.
But I think that also, the kind of like the approach and the thinking about delegation varies between you and I, also because our roles in the office are different. Like your role is to grow the practice, like focus on the development of the office, right? So of course, like
it's easier for me.
You need to think about it that way. You need about it to work that way. For me, I'm in the production and the design of the project, so I care about what comes out.
I'm involved in design.
No, you are, but it's not like your nose is into it every day for like 10 hours a day, right? So.
Not as much as you are for the production of things, for sure.
So for me, it's harder to to delegate. But I've learned to do it because I understand that it's not possible in the long term to do it all, one person doing it all. And also, it is more interesting if you have more brains into a project, right? Yeah. So that's that.
I think also it's just the experience. Again, my inner self is quite different from some of these things we're talking about, like delegating or being patient, which I'm going to talk about, or this and that. But I've had a lot of experiences of either being in music ensembles and karate classes. I mean, going back to a kid, which is kind of silly to talk about when you're a kid, but that actually does shape you.
No, it does.
And then I said music, and then also like like a bunch of stuff in team groups, and I'm just used to it. And again, I enjoy it. I find it really, really interesting.
And I'm the opposite. Like I've never done team sport. I've never done music. It's always I've done everything by myself.
I also don't know, even without those experiences, if you are innately as interested in that stuff as me. Like from a very young age, actually, one of the first things I wanted to be, aside from being a fireman, I was like in kindergarten, would be a fire. Aside from that, I wanted to be a karate instructor, and I was like probably 8 or 7. I was like really young. That was always my interest. Those who cannot do, teach.
Hey, that is to say that exists.
Okay. Was there anything else in that paragraph that you disagree with, or that was of note? I felt like it was all pretty dead on, to be honest.
No, it's pretty dead on, but I do feel like you do well in like forums or small circles. Like I don't think you're doing better one or the other. I think you're pretty good at doing both. Small
groups, yes. But it said something about big groups, big open groups. I do not like those.
No, you don't like those, but doesn't mean you're not good at it.
Okay, true. I'll say that the anxiety I was describing, when it's a small trusted group, I'm comfortable. In a big group, though, it can. I have to like psych myself up to be ready for that.
Can't take any Red Bull the day you're going.
But it's interesting because there are some architects who maybe their profile would be different based on what I'm going to say, but they, especially when they do more public-facing work or even houses, they are much more like, okay, we're going to do this library. Everyone in the community come together. Let's do program diagrams together. Let's like brainstorm ideas. And I think from cultivating ideas and information, that I agree with. But one step further, a lot of architects, okay, let's like problem solve together as a community. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
no, it's going to be a shit show.
It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. Like, again, you use a fishing net, you catch 100 people. How many of those people are idiots? Yeah. A lot of them. Let's be honest. Like, give me your ideas, but don't pretend that you're going to be able to solve something like as a group. Like that's silly.
Okay, drive and urgency. David is naturally proactive with a strong entrepreneurial profile. He's fast-paced, ambitious, and impatient with routine. He thrives under competitive pressure and responds positively to high-stakes environments. His sense of urgency is one of his most defining leadership traits. Yeah, I mean, you do good in those types of things. And I guess, again, it comes back to, being part of a band, being part of, doing competition for sports and stuff. Like, I hate those things. I told you, I joined judo. We're doing competition on Saturday morning at 8, and I was like, fuck that. I'm not waking up to do competition on Saturday morning. Are you kidding me?
You also, I remember you said you didn't have weight classes, so you were...
yeah, well, that's why I didn't last in judo. I was like with big kids. I was on the ground all the time. It was no fun.
That's fair.
No fun at all.
That's fair.
I was like getting ready with my kimono, like on the stand on the tatami, and then before you know it, I was on the ground. I'm like, what the heck? I haven't had a chance to do anything. I bought the book, with like all of the figures and stuff. I was so excited of learning. Never got to actually do one. On the ground.
Then you stand back up, and then you're on your back again.
I'm like, I said, my parents, it's not fun. They're like, well, we don't want to be paying for you to be on the tatami all the time. So
you could just do that at home. Judo!
My younger sister, we both tried to enroll at the same time. She was a little bit younger, so she was like a few classes below me. She hated it from day one try because you know that you had to like do like what you call it, like rolling on your head. I mean on your
learning how to fall.
Yeah,
like
but
when you drills.
Yeah, like when you roll on the mat. Mm-hmm. And she hated that. She was like, nope, not for me. I think she would have been really good at it, but anyway.
Probably. I think all that stuff is pretty accurate. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I think what I enjoy doing is pretty accurate.
Well, okay, what motivates David? Ooh, let's see. Nachos, definitely. IPAs.
I do love some good nacho plate.
All right, it's independence and control over his own work and outcomes. Yeah, I mean, of course, otherwise you wouldn't have the practice. Yeah. Opportunities to prove himself in competitive contexts.
I mean, I am competitive.
Yeah, I think you'd like doing that. Financial reward as a proxy for influence, power, and independence. I mean...
Whoa, say that again?
Financial reward as a proxy for influence, power, and independence.
Financial reward as proxy for...
Influence, power, and independence.
That's a really specific line.
I mean, who would not want that?
Sure, I guess. Although, what's interesting with that, and again, I might be misinterpreting that piece of it, but what's interesting is that I think when you have a business, you have to flip those two quite often. Like you sacrifice financial gains for those other things, or for the on which we should not do, but we all do it as creatives for the outcome of the project. So, yeah, I don't know.
Or to get recognition,
Yeah, I mean, it's just, everything takes money.
Yeah. Okay, the other thing is certainty, clear rules, defined expectations, and measurable goals.
I shake my head because to me, there's no other way of operating. Like if we're, so like if we're in group conversations and we're talking about a subject matter and we're trying to obviously arrive at a conclusion or a summary or something of some kind, but there's no parameters for the conversation, I can't do that. I will stop the conversation and I'll be like, what are we talking about here? And a lot of people, but again, my default is like, how the fuck could you not operate that way? But obviously people do, because I'm in situations where people just meander all over the place. I'm like, guys, we are just going in circles.
But then you wonder, how do they get anywhere in life?
I don't understand.
How long can you meander before you hit a wall?
Yeah.
I don't know either.
I mean, luck is a factor too. They just end up somewhere, randomly go with it and then see what happens. But
yeah. Other things that motivate you is deep, specific expertise and ongoing opportunities for mastery.
Yeah.
And the last one is freedom from unnecessary risk and strong, confidence-inspiring leadership.
Wait, these are things I like or don't like? What is it?
Things that motivate you.
And what are the last two?
Freedom from unnecessary risk and strong, confidence-inspiring leadership.
Strong, confidence-inspiring leadership. Yes, I'm super drawn and motivated by that. And the other one, I would tend to agree with, I guess.
Okay, now let's look at your leadership snapshot.
Mine's boring. There wasn't yours. There was more.
Maybe we're getting to the meat here.
Okay.
Leadership snapshot: communication.
Yeah.
Sincere and direct. Say exactly what it means. Concise and factual in group settings.
You tell me.
Sincere, definitely. I don't know if you are direct. I think you're indirectly direct. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you word things in a way that it is what you think, but you're going to word it in a way that doesn't come out too harsh or too direct.
Yeah. What's interesting is that if we had taken this snapshot, or this discussion was back when I was in high school and I was in a music ensemble, I was a kind of a group leader, that would have been totally accurate. But of course, when you're really direct and you have resting bitch face, as I tend to have, I've checked, I've looked in the mirror. When I think I'm being neutral, I don't look like a happy person. I'm like, oh God,
really?
I don't look like...
Well, I think a lot of people don't. I mean...
you learn pretty quick that it's not the most productive way to have discourse with people, because most people have thin skin and they don't, whatever. So I would actually prefer to be more direct than I am. And actually one of my internal goals for the last half a year or whatever is to find out ways to be more direct.
Humor is a good way to be direct without coming out as an asshole.
Yeah, but I mean even more direct. Oh. In certain instances, like just say no, that doesn't work.
Well, I think you're doing better at that. With clients, instead of like agreeing. Like I think the last, let's say, a few projects, you're standing your ground a bit more than you've done before.
And there's a number of reasons for that. The more experience you have, the more comfortable you are, the more projects you have, the less risk there is. Like in the early days when you have like one project, you cannot roll the dice on that project. So you kind of bend over backward to either concede on the extreme end or just be like more polite, because you can't run the risk. Yeah. And of course, everyone knows like you can't do that too much. But when you only have one project, you're going to do it, right?
That's why architects are often assholes.
Well, there's a little bit of they can afford to be. Yeah, absolutely.
No, for sure.
And I do think that for some people that you're working with, the directness is actually what they respond to. Not like as a dog, but like it communicates to them like, okay, like we're not going to go that route. And it's fine. Yeah. It's not as offensive. I think when I was going back to the idea of Asian culture, there's in a lot of cases for Asians, first and second generations, they are overly polite in too many cases, and they're not direct enough because they're too concerned about offending people.
Well, it's either that or the opposite.
Or the complete opposite. Yeah, there's not really a lot of middle ground. Yeah, that's true.
No.
That's true. No. Yeah. No.
Okay, thinking. You're serious?
This is blank.
Thinking. Yeah. Serious, disciplined, and imaginative. Highly analytical with a reflective interior process.
This is completely accurate. Yeah.
Oh, so boring.
I know, it is boring.
No surprise there. Like, what the heck? Where's the juicy stuff?
I don't mind thinking aloud with people that I really, really trust, but if it's not someone who I trust like really well, I prefer not to do any thinking out loud, because it goes back to the open forum
so it takes
thing.
Forever.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I can move faster in my brain than I can in some group conversation with 30 strangers. You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Team approach. Reserved with unfamiliar people, builds a small, trusted inner circle and leads within it.
Yeah, I mean, that's... I would say the only time where I'm not reserved in a more public setting or with strangers is if I've been anointed that position in some way. So, you know how like sometimes you go to events or seminars or workshops or whatever, and you don't know anyone there, but you're probably all the same profession, and then they break off into groups of like 6 at a round table, and your job is like, okay, you're a team now, and your team is going to do this thing, like make a tower out of Post-it notes or whatever, like that kind of bullshit.
I hate this.
I'm sure you hate it. So like in that situation, or a more serious one, I will not jump and be outspoken, proactive, namely because I would be concerned that I would be offending others, or that others would be like, what the fuck is this guy telling us what to do? Oftentimes I'm not, because I'd rather just hear what other people have to say. And if this sounds really smug, and I'm very aware of that, but if what they have to say I find to be interesting or smart, then I will engage. If not, then I check out. I'm like, I'm not going to participate.
I would do the same.
Yeah.
I do the same. I would not lead. I would not be the one jumping to lead because of the same reason as you. But internally, I would be thinking the whole time, like, I would have done a bit of this.
Yeah.
But anyway. Okay, last is your pace. High urgency, moves fast, set ambitious timelines, and holds himself to demanding standards. Oh, yeah.
Demanding standards Absolutely. I like to move fast. Here's how I would put it, and this is a very self-centered way of being, is if I know what it's supposed to be or what's supposed to happen, it needs to happen now. And if it doesn't happen immediately, I get very, very annoyed. Internally, I get very annoyed.
Now, can we put that toward like when you're trying to watch something in the weekend? Like
trying to what?
Try to watch something on TV on the weekend and be ultra decisive in making the decision as to what to watch.
I also think that
because I'm done eating and we still don't know what we're watching. So
if I know, then it's quick. You know, like a decision is one thing, but if I know, like, here are the steps we need to get to that place, then we do those. Or like if we're having a conversation about. It's always about options, right? In the office, like, okay, is it option A, B, or C? If I know it's option A, or I believe it to be so, then I lose patience about, you know, the whole conversation about others saying it should be B or C. I very quickly lose patience.
Me too, and then that's how we don't get anywhere. That is why we need a bigger team.
But again, that's inside of me. I'm not acting like a psychopath when I'm talking with others.
I know.
Unless you're a dick toward me, then I don't. Sorry, my tolerance goes away. As an aside, I also find like politeness is a big part of it for me, for myself, but for others. If others are polite, then I will do a lot of things outside of my way, my internal self, to make things work.
Yeah, and I guess I would consider that like respect in a way.
Respect, yeah.
You know, like if I feel like there is respect on the other side, like I love, you know, preserving that because I think that means a lot. And also oftentimes I feel like it also means people are professional.
Yeah.
And
professionalism is a big one.
Super important.
That's probably at the top of my list in terms of the qualities I want a person to have if I choose to work with them, whether that person be a hire, a consultant, a GC, or a client. Like if they're not professional, it doesn't, I think it's rude. To be honest, I think it's extremely rude.
Okay, now let's talk about partnership dynamics between David and Marina.
Oh, you want to go into that? Okay.
Well, we're done with your profile.
Oh, okay. That was quick. That was kind of boring.
So it says that that we...
Well, see, okay, so you're criticizing me for taking too long on the analysis. Mine is more accurate as a result. I think you went through it too quickly. And then your answers.
God, you always have to like just put your big foot on everything, huh? No. That's just who I am. And look, I got the special criteria you did not get. So
yeah, that's true. How come I'm missing my 2 words?
But it says here, David and Marina represent a complementary yin-yang partnership.
Yeah, I agree.
David brings competitive drive, analytical rigor, and urgency. And Marina brings relational warmth, steady composure, and long-term loyalty. Wow, sounds incredible. Yeah, I want to meet that person.
But I do think that there are micro aspects to that where we feather together a lot more. Because I see some of me in what those words for you.
No, I know.
I see a lot of you in the words that describe me, to be honest.
I know. Wow.
Especially the urgency.
I'm always the one pushing you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No,
and for good reason, but...
Yeah. I still need those details by tomorrow. It says together they create a leadership pairing with both the horsepower to compete and the cohesion to retain. That's interesting.
Clearly the report is saying that I am one and you are the other. I don't think that...
No. Yeah, I mean, you know. In terms of dynamic, it says that my stability grounds your drive and you energize my pace. That's interesting. In terms of decision style, we're complementary and we combine rigor with people sensitivity.
I mean, you have to. I feel like in this profession, you have to be very rigorous and you have to be people-oriented or whatever it said at the end. Because if you're not, nothing works.
Yeah. Change appetite. Don't know what that means.
Change. Oh, like your appetite for change?
Yeah, I guess so. It says David leads change. Marina ensures consistency during transitions. Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
I think we're both sharing a lot on that.
And team energy, strong yin-yang. Did they put that because you're Asian? high individual drive plus strong relational glue. Well,
yeah,
no
it's kind of
kidding.
repeating itself.
Okay, I mean, this is reassuring. That means at least the two of us can work together.
What would have happened though, like sincerely, what would happen if we did that and the report came back and we're both like either completely incompatible or we're both identical, like to one fucking side of the spectrum, and then people are like, well, these people should not work with anybody. You know what I mean?
Well, if it came out as like we're not compatible, I feel like we would know about it already.
That's probably
and that
true.
would probably mean like we would need a really big talk and reassess like what the heck we're doing.
But let me rephrase my statement. How many businesses have partners
Of course.
who are not, quote, complementary?
Yeah, probably a lot. I mean, if
lot.
it could still work, it probably can. But how many of them should not work together? Probably a good amount too.
Yeah.
But then maybe that's where, I don't know, if you have like a big office, the mix of employees kind of like counterbalance it all, so then it could work. But if you talk about, decision making and leading an office, I feel like you have to be pretty good at working together. Otherwise, at some point, it's going to not work.
Yeah. I pose the question because just a lot of architects and designers I meet, I'm like, you guys are fucking
Or
weird.
how many offices, just have one person, like one leader.
Yeah.
And how is that not, not good? Because there's no counterpart, there is no balance.
I've always said I think 3 is actually the magic number because there's so much to do. Roughly speaking, you have 1 for BD, 1 for running the office and maybe doing technical stuff, and then 1 for design. That I think.
But
I
was thinking about that the other day. Like, I think for us, we're a couple in life in addition to like working together in the office. So in a way, it's kind of like you would think that it would be easier for us to work together because we're already working together in life, right?
Right.
When I see partners of offices who one day just decided to start an office together, I'm like, that's pretty bold.
You mean who were they beforehand?
I don't know.
Oh, no. I mean, were they a couple beforehand?
No. Like people who are not together in life.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know, 2 men, 2 women, a man and a woman that just, I don't know, either went to school together or somehow met and decided to have an office together. It always kind of blows my mind when people do that because I'm like, but how do you know it's going to work? Like, you don't know the person as well as if you're, sharing your life with them, right?
I mean, it's a little bit of rolling the dice. But at this point, I can tell pretty quickly whether or not someone is going to be a good business partner, I think. And I've had those relationships and experiences in the past where, and before I've seen red flags, ignore them, and then it didn't work out. And then other times where intuitive, I'm like, we're just like, it's really working well, this collaboration. And then that person and I, we worked together extremely well. And what the odd thing was, and then years had passed because we all went kind of different ways. And then we tried to work together again. It didn't happen for logistical reasons, but we kind of like, we picked back up and like, yeah, we're right back in the flow of working together. So I think there are some instances where it just clicks and you just kind of feel it. But it's an odd thing, this whole thing of life bouncing around with all these different people and the chances of like the timing and the serendipity of bumping into the right person. It's just it's an odd part of it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, that was fun. I'll be down to do another personality test for something
to get a different set of results. Yeah, I thought that was pretty fascinating. I don't know. So what are you going to do with that information? Are you going to be more aware?
Well, no, I feel very confident. I'm like, well, I'm just perfect.
Okay, that's your takeaway.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it just highlighted things I already knew in terms of like the the good and the things I probably should be working on. So that just confirms it. You know?
Yeah. All right. Well, there's one recording. Okay. I think we're done. Want to give us an outro?
Yeah, thank you everybody for listening to the show. If you like what we do, please leave us...
Your outro always starts so like, you're like, thank you everybody for listening. You can't pump it up.
Thank you everybody for listening to the show. If you like what we do, please leave us a review. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. Second Studio Pod is the handle, and we also have a website, secondstudiopod.com. Is that right? I don't even remember the address.
Yeah, that's it. And we have a hotline, so if you want to use your phone and send a text message or leave a voicemail for messaging us for guest suggestions, questions, whatever. It's 213-222-6950.
Actually, I would be curious to know, like, how many of our listeners have done this type of personality test and how many use that, to, let's say, expand their team. It would be pretty interesting to find out. So that's it. There is more to come. Please keep following us and talk soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.